Very warm welcome and thanks for joining to the InMind Clouds webinar series ConnectX 2019, the Manufacturing Sales Solution. Today's industry talk is on industrial machines, mechanical engineering sales scenarios. Your host today, myself, Michael Butchko, Sales Director DACH based out of Munich, Dr. Falk Brauer, Senior Vice President, Global Center of Excellence and Pre-Sales, and our Solution Advisor, Gavin Chen. Talking about sales processes, how does it look like in personal life? Well, it's my wife's birthday, so I go online, I check a few stores to buy her the jacket. I found now my store, and actually this is the jacket I like. I select the size, I select the color, I get an immediate price feedback on that jacket, and guess what? It's the one that I would like to order, so I put it in the basket and I check it out. Immediately I get the delivery date, and if that experience is really good, I actually come back and buy again. Why can we not have the same experience in manufacturing sales? Reality in manufacturing sales is different though. My needs as a professional customer will be a little bit more complex than the jacket from before. Thus, I reach out to different vendors. Vendor A is maybe not even delivering me the offer in the right time that I need. Vendor C, potentially not capable of fulfilling my requirements. Vendor B, however, can offer me the customer journey that I need. The right offer at the right time with a promised delivery that I require and a proper usage of the product or the good that I ordered. And while using that product, maybe it's even possible to fulfill my additional needs that I identified during my life cycle of the product. We at InMind Cloud are there to help you fulfilling such a perfect customer journey for your customers. As a leader in sales process automation for the manufacturing industry, we have productized the engineering sales or manufacturing sales process into a standard sales platform, which is called Manufacturing X Sales Platform. As an independent software vendor, we closely cooperate with SAP in order to bring a deep integration into your productive backend systems. For special needs, we also integrate with Google Maps or AutoCAD. To provide you the best possible service, we cooperate with a global partner network. As a rapidly growing cloud software provider, we are present around the globe. Likewise, we have a global customer base. For our topic today, for instance, Sadesloh or System Ceramics out of the sub-vertical market, mechanical and plant engineering. Maybe as you see here, total different subsegments of the manufacturing industries, all of those companies have one thing in common. They all use our standard manufacturing sales platform. Where do manufacturers face challenges supporting a proper customer journey in manufacturing? Well, let's visualize on a kind of like a travel infrastructure and we'll visit a city. I don't need to mention that CRM is today a given system in any of the companies. Now, let's imagine we have kind of like a contact already established and we start to engage and we can convert a lead into an opportunity. So we start to talk about the real configuration. In my past, I have been in the display manufacturing business, and let's just imagine how we configured the products. Well, actually, we had a manual product catalog. One was based on Excel, we had a database, we had some data sheets, and we made some configurations. So in our scenario, we take the airplane to get quickly to some valid configuration. Now, as a next step, we also need to know what is our cost so that we can offer later on a proper pricing. So usually that is again on another IT system, kind of like a standard, a standalone configurator, a third-party configurator, an Excel sheet, whatever. So in our scenario, that means we change from the plane to the train. And as a next step, when we want to get back with a real price, what we can offer that product, we have another time to go either into ERP or an Excel spreadsheet where the complicated pricing structure is based. So now let's just think that I have negotiated very hard with my customer for a color change. So all that color change is now based on my pricing. Let's assume it's 50 euros per device. Now we are actually ready to close the contract and send them the final quote. We another time go to, for instance, Word and generate the quote document. So we changed from the car to the bicycle. Now let's shorten the cycle and we say the customer accepted. So now what happens when we would like to convert that quote into an order? Well, usually the back office goes and types whatever I wrote in the quote as a configuration into an ERP order. And exactly here, again, there's a vulnerable point that exactly my negotiated color change of 50 euros is not being taken over by manual work. And then, once that is done, obviously, as we enter that, the device will be produced. When that device is being produced, it can now happen that because we have so many changes of the systems and the transport media, that we lost important information about our initial configuration or what we need to deliver to the customer. So guess what? We even reduced our lead times from 12 to 10 weeks, which was a massive workload for us to do so. But what happened once after 10 weeks the device got shipped? It was in the standard color, which is a big problem. How does an optimal customer journey with a manufacturing CRM look like? How could the problems and the changes in the system be avoided with all the issues that we mentioned? For an optimal customer journey, you need a totally integrated and fully capable manufacturing CRM that allows you, beyond the standard CRM functionalities, to do what you need to do, quoting. When we look at opportunities, let's go down with the same media of transport. Let's take here the train and do out of the same system the configuration, the cost calculation, the pricing and the negotiation, all the required approvals from inside of the company, and generate the proposal in an instant of a time and send quickly the quote with a producible good directly to the customer. When he accepts, he gets the order and we can very quickly, in the right time, provide the right solution. But it's not only about that. Having such a capable system, it will also allow us to dramatically reduce the lead times, not only from 12 to 10 weeks, but down to 4 weeks, because everything is already visible inside the company for everyone, and we can do proper forecasting on all of the opportunities and all of the goods and the components that we need, so that you can dramatically reduce the lead time. The customer, though, has also the product that he needs according to his requirements, and that in a very quick turnaround time. Now the customer is using actually the good or the product that we shipped him. Now during the lifetime there might be some additional requirements. Maybe the display broke, the component is done, not working anymore. So if he can go back in such a system and check based on his install base what he can order on top, or as spare parts or consumables, that gives him the perfect customer journey. And he can, for instance, also order services, whatever that should be, maintenance, additional support, etc. That will bring him back to order again at you as a vendor who is capable of providing him a customer journey like what we experience in the daily life when we go, for instance, buying a jacket. Now, having talked about the optimal customer journey, let me hand over to Falk and let's jump into the thrilling and exciting part of the webinar, the real system.
Now we have talked a lot about the customer journey. Let's see how this looks in a real example. In our example, we will look into a machine manufacturer who is producing precision optics machines and machines for ophthalmics products, meaning lenses. On the left, you see examples of the products, and on the right, you see examples of the machines that are required to produce such a lens. The first question in the customer journey is, what do I want to achieve? What products do I want to produce? And which capacity do my machines need? So as it's not only one machine, we need to combine a couple of machines and they need to fit together. Then each machine comes in different configurations, meaning they can have a different capacity, they can have the ability to produce different lenses as discussed before, but also we can choose different accessories, for instance, HDMI or other components, which are helpful to run the overall solution. Also, these machines, like many machines, require consumables like cooling liquids and other things. And once I bought the machine, I will also need a steady supply of spare parts with convenient delivery times. Manufacturing X supports different go-to-market models: direct sales, distribution sales, and also customer self-service portal scenarios. In the demonstration, we will look through the direct sales scenario, and we will look how a customer would order spare parts and consumables for a machine that he bought before. Let's log on to the system. So on the left, I see my main work areas, which are home, dashboards, my accounts, my opportunities, my quotations and products. And I enter first into my tasks, so my open opportunities and quotations. I also can go to favorites and see all my favorite accounts and opportunities. Let's quickly walk through the system. So we see here the dashboards with different charts for opportunities, quotes, and so on, and closing date. Here we see the account lists and contacts. And let's go via the opportunities. And here's the pipeline view. So I see in which phase my opportunities are. And now I'm interested in a specific lead I'm working on where I got feedback, and I check all the data that I acquired so far. So chance of success is 100% now. It's not a lead anymore. It's already on commit. I captured a volume of 500K. That might be about right. So let's quickly go and create a quotation. So I give the quotation a name. I choose a quote type, so it's still quotation, not yet in order. Choose the currency. And then I basically end up in the quotation screen. So a couple of things are interesting here. First of all, I see an overview with the main data. I can capture notes, which are interesting. So ready to close. I can add items, which I do in a second, and I can see other things like proposal details, attachments, partners, and approvals if required. So there are a couple of ways to add solutions and products into the quotation. I now go the most simplest one, the product catalog. In here, I can simply search by identifiers or product names. I'm now looking for a tile mix solution. And there are now, again, a couple of ways. So I can use the interactive image. I can simply pick the machines that I like to offer. And here I can see all the machines that I now selected for my customer. So let's add and close them and see them in the quotation. All right, let's gain some space here. So what I will do now, I can give discounts. So I can also do this for a set of line items. Let's say I go with 40% discount for everything. So and here I see my 40%. I see my computed cash discount based on the base price. I can also see that I didn't choose yet any options. I see a unit price and a total price. So let's check the approvals. So currently, with my discount of 30%, I would need to get approval from the sales manager. Let's reduce, say, to 20% for all the line items. And checking now the approvals will show that I don't need approval. That's fantastic. So let's submit the quotation for approval. It's auto-approved. And then I can print a proposal for my customer and send it out. To do so, I can simply go on Reports, Generate Proposal, and I can choose what I want to be included in my proposal document. So I choose the cover page, maybe not a letter at this point in time, product description, and I can choose also some of my product specifications, which are directly attached to the product. And it generates one PDF for my customer. So, and here's the quotation document, so the cover page, product specifications, price, terms and conditions, as well as the terms and conditions, and the product documents. So, now I'm set up to send the quote to the customer. Let's imagine I did that. I discussed with the customer, went for a visit, and as it turns out, he's not interested in a couple of machines. He's actually interested in a full production line. So I go to withdraw the quote and configure a production line from scratch. So now we see the quote version increased to version 2. And instead of going with a line-by-line quotation, I choose the full solution. So let's see what my solution can do for me. So the interesting thing now about the solution is that I can go by my customer requirements. For instance, I can choose the type of lens that he wants to produce. I can, of course, choose the HDMI language or the productivity that he has in mind. Based on those requirements, the system will select machines which are suitable for me or restrict the amount of machines that I can choose. So, for instance, if I choose a manual production line, I only see here the manual bloggers available. If I choose that I want to produce 1 to 200 lenses per hour, again, my solution portfolio of the machines will be limited in here. However, since we still need to clarify a lot of details on the actual requirements, I can choose one of my pre-configured solutions that I know this customer might want to buy. This pre-configured solution actually auto-selects me a set of machines, such as the layout blocker PRA and the VFT macro as a full solution that the customer can buy from me with a special price. So here in my line item list, I see now all the machines. And here I see in the layout blocker PRA that this machine is not fully configured. I still need to choose the clamp whether I want to have a clamp assembly, and maybe I can change one of the other options. For instance, that I would require some blocking rings. Also, the customer asked for special terms and conditions, and I can change those in the proposal details. So first of all, I see general terms and conditions and can add some special requirements here. So we negotiated quite hard on a special payment schedule. So let me put this in the terms and conditions. I can easily add a list into here. So we say 20% upfront, 20% on delivery, and the rest 60% on installation. All right. So let's check that the proposal contains the updated terms and conditions. So again, quotation header, the line items, and within the payment terms, I see the payment schedule that we just entered. So with this, the quotation is ready to order. So again, I need to submit, might need another approval. Which is indeed required now because my total value is beyond 500,000 euro. So this needs approval from the CSVP. So let's switch to another screen. We log in as CSVP and see the quote for approval. So I can go inside, check all the details, and simply approve. Of course, I would have also been able to do this via email. Now we can see in the workflow view that the quote was approved. So what I can do now is to talk to my customer, that he confirms the acceptance of the quotation. I confirm that also in the system, and that I can easily create a new sales order like that. I can add purchase order number. And click create. So here we see the order ID from ERP. Let's check how that looks like in ERP. To check an ERP, we go into VA03 and enter the number from here. So what we can see easily is that our sold to and shipped to party is the one that we used. And in the item overview, we can see all our line items. We can see the configuration information here. That's exactly what we entered in our system. So, back to our user journey. What we had a look at was, we looked at the lead. We managed to do a really complicated solution configuration for actually a production line. We saw pricing, special terms, and other interesting features of manufacturing X. We generated multiple proposals and finally sent our quotation as a sales order to ERP, where now the production starts. So finally, the goods will be delivered to our customer. We delivered the right solution at the right time, and now it's time for the customer to use the system. As he is using it, he will need spare parts and consumables and maybe additional services. So let's see how that could look like for a customer. As a customer, it should be extremely easy to create an order for spare parts and consumables. You can go into a portal like this, which is embedded in the web page, and create inquiries. So let's create one. So we have a very easy version of the product catalog also available here, and you see only the products which are relevant for you. You can also see the products that you bought initially, like the layout blocker PRA, which we bought before. And we can go inside and see what related products are available for this machine. For instance, we can choose spare parts, such as milling head. Let's add this. We can see consumables that we might require. For instance, cerium oxide and PRA alloy, very important in this context. And maybe some complementary equipment, which always was interesting for me. For instance, the OSC micro separator. As easy as this, I selected all the products which are important to me, and I immediately get a price. I can also ask engineering or sales for further details. For instance, whether the alloy is the right one. With actions submit, I will send it to inside sales, and they can respond on my inquiry, and if there are no further questions, create directly in sales order in ERP. Herewith, we created a happy customer who can easily buy spare parts, inquire additional goods and services. And the happy customer comes back and buys more. Let's step back for a minute and think about what you just saw, and also add more details which we didn't see. So on top you see the process that we just discussed. Below, more interesting now, the manufacturing apps are the different modules that our application provides. So there's sales portal, sales simplification, sales optimization, sales management, and engineering sales. We'll add more details on this later. This bases on a solid foundation which manages APIs and connectors and runs different engines to provide the data that is needed for your sales process. Via the cloud platform, this data can be brought in from ERP, PLM, MES, and Excel data sources. The sales simplification module brings you end-to-end efficiency and agility. So it gives you the single source of truth, bringing your ERP data and other data sources into the system. This allows you an end-to-end process without any data loss, ensuring consistency. So this is the typical CPQ++ that you would expect from a manufacturing solution. Let's talk next about the sales portal. This really helps your top line. You bring your customers and your distributors into your world so they can easily connect with you. They can find the right products and solutions easily with the right price they are eligible to. They get the right assistance at the right time and can easily reach out to you and get questions answered. So this helps to grow your business and make your customers and distributors more happy. Next, the sales optimization. Today, we didn't see much about it due to time constraints, but sales optimization really makes sure that you can run configure to order and engineer to order from the same system. With engineer to order, you can basically price your products bottoms up, starting with the raw materials, the work centers, machines, assembly, and so on, and get the right costs. With this, you can ensure that your margins are always up to date and that you always have the best price possible. You get also tools like mass simulation to see effects of changes, such as a change of supplier or change of raw material. And you can easily simulate those options and select the ones which are important for you. Of course, this is also an end-to-end process, so engineer to order goods are created in your ERP to make the process smooth and easy. Sales and engineering collaboration are an important part in every manufacturing business. We only saw today the unstructured collaboration via notes, but we can also assign tasks within different teams, for instance, between sales, engineering, purchasing, and so on, so that you never leave the system and you can make sure that nothing gets lost. Tender composition is another important piece of the sales engineering module. If you have special use cases which require Google Maps data or AutoCAD integration, we have those available for you. As mentioned before, all our modules base on the foundation. It's a set of engines, APIs, connectors, and so on. On top, it delivers easy administration, allows you to reuse existing data in workflows, for instance, via loading data via Excel into the systems. And on top, you have scripting capabilities and can build your custom connectors. So that was the summary of the demonstration and the software capabilities. Let's now talk about services and implementation. As mentioned before, we have a global network of partners who can work with you to implement your requirements in the system. We are also available to help you directly or our partners with that. After the implementation, you are not left alone. You can work with our customer success team and work with them to improve your overall process to make it even more simple and seamless. Our customer success will also share on a quarterly basis updates on our releases and the roadmap. So with this, we are basically finished with the presentation. Let me hand over back to Michael, who will summarize the benefits of our solution.
Thanks, Falk. Features and functions are great, but what my customers actually care about are actually values and benefits for the business. As mentioned before, having a manufacturing CRM that has all the relevant information required for your production business actually improves your forecast accuracy. It reduces the cost of error because we have a predictable configuration and pricing. We have less changes per order. We can significantly reduce the lead time of an order. In numbers, what does that mean? Our customer, and this is a real number crunching here, have actually an improved forecast accuracy of more than 50%. The cost of errors actually dropped down 90% because they had less after order or quote changes required, and changes per order dropped for 75%. So from 28 in the average down to 6. And the order lead time has actually tripled because they could reduce the lead time from 12 to 4 weeks. So having said that, thank you very much, our audience, for listening and following our, for me, very thrilling demonstration. And now we're open for your questions. Please feel free. We will now unmute all the microphones and be available for your questions.